What's going on, everybody? So today I'm going to be attempting this MOC with Jingliu. Now I have an 8 cost team comp right here. Jingliu E0 S1, Sparkle E3 S1, and then Chibi and Linkshot are both E0 S1. I want to see if Jingliu is going to be good enough to keep up with modern day DPS units, or if she is still lackluster as a DPS. Now, the main goal of this video will be to get a clear in MOC in 5 cycles or less with this team comp. So let's just go ahead and attempt it right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I kind of already know how this is going to turn out because I have tested my Jingliu before. Now, here, I'll talk a little bit, right? Sparkle's E3 S1, Jingliu's E0 S1, and then the other two, Trippy and Linkshot, are E0 S0. Let me say this, okay. I'll let it speak for itself, and then I'll talk at the end, okay? Jingliu should still have the Sparkle buff, so let's just go ahead and see, right? Peep the crit just a little bit. She has 7,500 HP, 90 crit rate, 344 crit damage. She does not have Sparkle's buff, but it's whatever. 185. It's high. It's terrible. Jingliu, is she meta? Now, I said this at the beginning of the video, but the goal here is to get a 5 cycle clear. 5 cycles or less. Highly unlikely to be less. Maximum 5 cycles. After that, I'm gonna give up. Right? If I have to overcompensate on the other side that badly, then this team comp's not gonna be worth it, right? And these are the best units that I can use with Jingliu, and this is cycle 1 down already. Let's see. Here's a big hit. Okay, 400,000. You know what? That's not too bad. Definitely some serious damage for a unit as old, like a DPS that's as old as Jingliu. Let's see. One more hit. Gonna attack the one on the left. 230,000 against 2 enemies. 300k. It is definitely it's definitely doable. I'll say that. 10 trillion% doable. But can I actually do it? Let's look at the crit one last time. One enemy, right? 600 crit damage, and she's got like a ton of HP. 200,000 damage on one enemy is not that bad, but that is cycle 2 down. But I will say though, 2 cycles down and still on the first wave. Let's just keep going. Okay. I have hope for Jingliu. I don't have Hyacinth or Sunday. The only unit here that can really like synergize that well with Jingliu will be Trippy, I guess. Sparkle to an extent. Okay. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, cycle 3 down. That was a short ass cycle, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, suddenly I don't have too much hope for Jingliu. Uh-oh. The cleanse is gonna save us. I already know how I'm going to evaluate Jingliu, and I'm sure the majority of the community does by this point. But let's just keep on going. This is cycle 4. Remember, 5 cycles is the goal. And I've tested out this Jingliu so much. My E0 S1 Jingliu, like post buff. I've spent hours testing her, seeing what I can do. This is the best showcase I can do for Jingliu on my account. She can't really do much in Apocalyptic Shadow, and then Pure Fiction. I'm not gonna use Jingliu over Himiko. Boom. Sparkle's gonna get her ult when I use her skill, so that's when we go crazy. But Sparkle gives attack boost, not HP, which is so useless on Jingliu. It's kind of like, it's a little iffy, you know. She was hitting for 400k earlier. Where are those damage numbers at now? And 321,000. Okay. Just gonna do that, then. Oh, one cycle left to take down the Swarm King. Sparkle skill. I think her skill has given 100% action advance every time. 432,000. Okay. Oops. That was an accident. It's whatever. I think we kind of already know where this run's going. And then skill, it's not really gonna... 300,000 without the tribute thing. Oh, okay. And then this is the last little hit I can get in before we go on to cycle 6. Yeah. I think it kind of like goes without saying, right? Like that run's probably expected to go on for like 7 cycles total. So that was my Jingliu at E0S1 with a decent team comp. Honestly, test it out, right? Sparkle E3S1 and then Isui E0S0, right? It wasn't that bad, right? It's not gonna take me 10 cycles to clear with Jingliu, but here's the thing, right? Jingliu is still not meta post 3.4 buffs, and I don't know if anyone was expecting her to be meta, but even though I was expecting her to still be lackluster, I was expecting at least a 5 cycle clear, honestly. And here's the thing, right? You will see content creators that will clear MOC with Jingliu in 5 cycles or less. I did it back at 3.1, but 3.1's MOC was arguably a lot easier than the one we have now in version 3.4. So the endgame has gotten a lot harder since 3.1, and will Jingliu be able to keep up with future MOCs? There will be a couple, right? And I will say this right now, this is a video about MOC or Jingliu specifically, but still, there are team comps and characters that are great, but they don't work in every scenario. The Herda is about as flexible as a DPS can get, but still, even this most recent Apocalyptic Shadow, I wasn't able to really get a good clear in with the Herda, so I had to compromise and use Firefly on one side and then Face Out on the other to get the max star clear. The Herda is obviously a better DPS than these two, but still, she wasn't as good as these two, right? Not every team comp is going to be able to brute force and clear all of the endgame every single time, and it's like that a lot, especially with Jingliu. There will be scenarios, MOCs in the future where I personally will be able to clear, but does this mean that Jingliu is bad? I'll say this right now, post buffs, Jingliu is still not a great unit. She's not a good DPS, but I don't think that she's bad either. Right, with E0S1, there will be people out there, like I said, who can get the 5 cycle or less clears in this MOC specifically. I can't get it done with my account, right? My units aren't really, supporting Jingliu that much. I do have Tribi, yes, but even then, you saw it wasn't quite enough. You're gonna need a lot of investment to get Jingliu up and running, getting her, getting the same amount of clears as somebody like Fanon. And honestly, it's not worth it, right? There will be Jingliu lovers who will still hold on to her, right? These buffs are great, right? HP scaling, right? She synergizes a lot with Hyacinth. If you have Hyacinth, that's really great if you have Jingliu as well, especially E0S1. But Jingliu still needs a lot of investment to get up and running, and at the end of the day, I don't like Pridewen, really. I don't like how people view Pridewen, but if I had to put it into Pridewen terms, she'd probably be sitting around tier 1 if I had to guess. She's got the damage multipliers, it's just that she wasn't able to attack enough. And yes, I don't have speed boots on her, but I did run speed boots and the performance over HP boots was worse. So I don't know which one's better. I tested both HP boots and speed boots. But regardless, no matter which one I did, she couldn't clear fast enough. So that's about it for this video. Don't take my run alone as, fact as to whether or not Jingliu is good. Like I said, there are other people who will be able to clear with Jingliu. But at the end of the day, right, most of the time I'm still going to be running Firefly over Jingliu, especially considering that the same units I use with Jingliu, I would also use with someone like Bainan, someone like the Herda, right? So I wouldn't really run Jingliu over Firefly or even Acheron, honestly. But that's about it for this video. There's not much else to say. The buffs are great, but if you were expecting Jingliu to be one of the best DPSs in the game, that's not what you got. And I wasn't expecting that either, but I will say I was expecting a little more. So that's about it. I'll see y'all. Goodbye.